politics are inherently idiotic. It's one of those things where I feel like I need to just kind of stress that, this being one of the most contentious political seasons we've ever had in these United States, that no matter what ideology you believe in, it's dumb. That's really the problem, not only with the United States political system, but I think really society as a whole, is that as long as we believe in these ideologies, these certain rigid belief systems, we believe are just sort of dogmatically correct no matter what, we never really accomplish anything. And the thing about politics is they're meant to naturally be divisive. They create wedges. It puts you in the ultimate, sort of group herd mentality. And any sort of deviation from it whatsoever makes you an outcast. And the thing about politics, and this is just sort of a general observation, you look at this now, you look at this during the Nazi regime, you look at it during, the Great Leap Forward in China, you go back to the Lenin Revolution, you go back and you look at all of them. They all have the exact same catalyst. And that is that people, quite frankly, are afraid to be individuals. The entire point of politics is what? Is to sort of negate your own individual identity, to subsume yourself in sort of a group identity, this herd dynamic. And think about the idea of what the politician is. It's this guy who isn't just a man, he's a symbolic representation of you and your own interests, which I think we can all agree upon is actually pretty stupid, because no one in this world should ultimately be deciding, what is best for you and serves your interests other than yourself. Well, of course, politics goes the opposite direction by saying, if you put your faith and your trust in this one person, they'll make the right decisions for you. And that's just, to me, just inherently fraudulent. It's one of the reasons why I don't support any political cause. I don't aid or abet any sort of political organization or political individuals whatsoever. I just find that to be utterly just, detestable. And looking at politics, you're seeing people now, getting beat up. There's fist flying, people protesting, people trying to block roads. And you see this in other countries where you literally have like civil wars break out. Where people are, getting shot, people are being murdered. This goes out throughout human history. And once again, what's the root cause of it? It's because people, deep down, they feel disempowered. They feel as if no one's listening to them. They don't have a voice. They're generally kind of irked about the way things are going culturally. So what do? Well, they get that wicker man, basically, that effigy. They put all of their concentrated, hatred and anger and disappointment in one candidate. And they stroke this person as if he's a god figure, or her, a goddess figure. Let's be equal opportunity here. And they do this, and for whatever reason, it seems like whenever you get into politics, when you see these seasons happen, people, they take the part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the part that's responsible for judgment and reason and rationality and thinking and actually critically analyzing things. And basically what they do is they take a giant screwdriver and just jam it right in the middle of it and just scramble their brains to the point where they can't think any way other than this rigid, dogmatic political system. And I don't really need to tell you this, but that's just bad. I don't believe any sort of group cause, any group identity. I don't want it, because I'm not. I'm not this may or may not be satire libertarian, or this may or may not be satire social democrat, or this may or may not be satire Republican, Democrat, whatever. I don't believe in those kind of labels. Because as soon as you put yourself in a label like that, you basically strip yourself of an individual identity. You're no longer you making rational, independent choices of your own accord. You're just another guy going out there promoting a secular religion, promoting some other, ideology, just basically taking what someone else says and regurgitating it without actually thinking about it and interpreting it critically. And that's bad. That's very, very, very bad. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. If you're a Democrat, Republican, Socialist, Communist, Libertarian, Anarchist, whatever. If you say you're one of these things, if you say you're part of a political system, if you say you have a political identity, you don't really have an identity of your own. You're just out there basically trying to fit in, trying to stem a group worth from some additional resource. And at the end of the day, nothing ever happens. You just put all your faith and money and invest all this interest in someone who's supposed to go out there and rally behind your causes. And what happens every time? You get disappointed. Every single time. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen in 2016. It's going to happen in 2026. It's going to happen in 3036. It's going to happen for the rest of humanity. As long as there are things called politics, as long as we have designated, executive leaders, as long as we have all these rich traditions, capitalism, communism, what have you, as long as we have that, we're going to have people disappointed. We're going to have people upset with their lot in life. And maybe, just maybe, the reason why you're so upset is the fact that, instead of, putting your faith in yourself and trying to make things right in your own life, basically you're just kind of going over this political person and saying that, hey, they didn't make our decisions for us. I'm trusting them to make the right call. I'm trusting them to make things better for me. But at the end of the day, the only person who can make things better in your own life is you. Well, anyway, that's just my rant heading into the 2016 political season. I think that's something that needs to be stated every single time we get into these discussions. That, don't buy into a herd idea. Don't be a part of the crowd. Be your own person. Think critically. Think rationally. Evaluate different resources. And be your own person. Basically, be like anyone who isn't involved in this whole disgusting, depraved, detestable political cycle.